I'm going to shut that outer door, Roger. Now better to open the ballgame.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7. If you'll call the roll, Chad. This time we'll recognize some students for their achievement above and beyond in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And we had Terrific Tiger Awards this month. And since I saw you were here first, Elizabeth, I'm going to start with you and not make you. Being recognized by the Board of Education for contributing to a 5th place finish in the 2011 Engineering Design Competition. Congratulations. We also had certificates this month for Kent Titsworth for 5th place finish in the Engineering Design Competition. Dylan Webster for the same thing. I think I saw one for Mason Wells too for the same thing. So you guys were all probably on the same team and project. And then Mason, and he had called, wasn't able to be here tonight, but did call me this evening. He's also being recognized for building the Unbreakable Toothpick Bridge in a 1st place finish in the 2011 Engineering Design Competition. Samantha Reinbold was also on the 5th place team that finished at the Engineering Design Competition. And we had Terrific Tiger Awards this month for Lacey Williams, who was an honorable mention selection in all-conference in volleyball. Amanda Kramer was the 2nd team all-conference selection. And Brooke Calloway was the 1st team all-conference selection in volleyball. And Brooke was also an Illinois State Scholar. Thank you for coming.
We have a Terrific Tiger Award for you also.
Why's that? Because I'm bossy?
No.
Oh, thank you.
It's called due diligence.
25 years tomorrow will be the best 25 years of Bruce's life.
Here, the board wanted you to have a little bit of keepsake for the
Isn't that just mushy? Actually, I had a gift that my husband opened that was from Dreamers tonight. It was, I'll just describe it as a bottle for me and a bottle for you. And I said, get it chilled. That's right. Thank you guys very much. And Bruce better follow through tomorrow. Okay. Need a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the last meeting, the treasurer's reports, December bills as submitted, and the November bills as shown.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah,
Second.
Bill.
Draper.
Yep.
Geyer, yes. Knetch.
Yeah.
Newland.
Yep.
Roberts.
Yes.
Wyman.
Yes.
Callaway.
I don't believe there were any committee meetings, so we'll go into the superintendent's report.
Okay, first thing is a reminder, the annual Christmas breakfast is December 21st. We're going to start cooking at about 6 a.m. Anybody that is interested in helping out, certainly we welcome the participation. If you can make it, let me know. We'll start serving about 7 a.m. in case you're just
I'm
interested
going to
in
try to
coming.
come. Really, you guys should come cook.
Yeah, I plan on being there too.
Because Julie's going to be gone,
great.
but she always helps. Sounds good.
She's the egg girl.
I'm kidding you.
I have made one, so I'm going to make you
Okay, Chad's going to take the eggs.
I don't care.
Okay, the next thing, I kind of included in your board packet a tentative calendar for the 2013 or 12-13 school year.
Never want to say I like it. I hate it when the start keeps getting earlier and earlier and earlier.
Yeah, this version, this pair, it's just a day.
My God, though, it was like the 16th or something they talked about starting.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the year that actually rolled back a week. Is that correct?
Yeah, we kept it that same week.
Yeah.
So we met, the 4 county superintendents met recently, and we discussed the calendar, and this is as common as it gets. And this is the first look. They're taking it to their boards tonight, and we put a memo out to our staff as our contract requires, requesting any input, and probably next month we'll discuss it again. Like to have it adopted by February for sure, so that going into next year we can start doing some planning. Any specific input? And Tina, I know that we've talked before about trying to keep it as late as possible, and that's what we're going to try to do. That would be the earliest, is the Teachers Institute on the 20th. Any other input that you want? We'll meet again in January to discuss it further. Okay, next item is the countywide institute. We're trying to work on some levels to combine resources in the county, and one of them that we've been successful at is to have all 4 school districts meet out at Lincoln Trail College January 3rd, and I think March, this Friday, I think it's the 2nd, whatever that Friday is before Pulaski Day weekend. This way we're able to have the cost split, and the teachers actually will be able to earn college credit. If they live in the IECC district, they'll be able to earn college credit for that, for the 2 days
This
together.
is something though that LTC really wants to get involved in with as well, isn't it?
LTC collaborated with us. The county health department is going to do some of the training. We've got some folks coming from the professional, the advisory committee for performance evaluation, the PAC committee. We've got folks from the State Board of Education come to talk about Common Core standards. And for those individuals come down here 4 times. It just doesn't make sense. So we're going to use this institute to do that, and in March we're going to do another one along Common Core standards, and we're going to start these professional learning communities where teachers in the same discipline areas and across grade levels will be able to work together on sharing resources within the 4 county schools and lesson plans to help meet the new Common Core standards. So we're pretty excited about it. We think it's the right thing to do. It's going to save money. It's going to combine resources and bring a little efficiency to what we do as far as institutes are concerned. And you're always welcome to come out to that. It'll be all day on January 3rd. Anybody got any questions on that? I included in your packet the latest statutory requirements for mandatory school board training. You notice that everyone is going to have training January 1st. Sometime during next calendar year, everybody has to have a FOIA training. Freedom of
Is there
Information
no
Act.
online option for that?
I
I mean,
right
there
now,
is, like the village officials, we do that. I mean, I have to do it for the village.
that's one of the things I think the School Board Association is going to offer this next year is an online option to do that. I do know that for the 5 hours of mandatory training that's going to come, 4 hours of mandatory training that's going to come for any new
People
board
elected
member.
after.
Duly elected, that will be online.
You can't be grandfathered in.
Not on the FOIA, but you already are grandfathered in on the other.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, the next time you're reelected,
Where
you
you
have to
gonna
do
do
the
that?
training.
No.
Huh?
Is it going to be online, or do we go somewhere?
By then, it'll be online. The professional development leadership training will be offered online. In fact, it already is.
Right now, the only thing I didn't see that had an online option was the Open Meetings Act.
There's no
Yeah.
online option.
And you don't think there will be next year either?
I think there will be. I do believe there will be, yes.
That's really ridiculous to require people to travel to a seminar somewhere. Using people's public expense money to train everybody all over God's creation. I'm not against additional training. I do it anyway, but I mean, it needs to be reasonable because I think it'll discourage people if it's too much of wanting to be involved.
Yeah, this is, I think, the basics, the minimal basics, especially the Open Meetings Act part of it. The 4 hours of professional development for all board members in education and labor law, financial oversight and accountability, and fiduciary responsibilities, that's going to be basic too. I mean, 4 hours in courses that take semesters to go through. What I'm hoping to be able to do is, whatever the training, if it's web-based, we can use a computer lab here at school, maybe have it before school board meeting night, to try and make it as convenient as possible for you all, so you can come in early, do your training, and then, everybody kind of do it at one time too. I think that'd be good. Have everybody understand together, answer questions, especially as a board, and we'll try to do that with both trainings as more details come out. But I wanted you to be aware of what the laws were and what the requirements were. I want to briefly discuss the 1% sales tax option. Several board members attended a meeting at Palestine, the county meeting related to this topic. There's one of the packets from that meeting in the center of the table. I have another one here. Several of you probably have these and have talked about them a little bit. We discussed this at the county superintendent's meeting, and I know the other 4 school boards in the county are kind of looking at this and discussing it too. This is something that really is going to go slow. We're going to make sure that people have an opportunity to learn about it. We want people to understand what the effect could be. We had one, I thought, pretty well written letter to the editor already about this issue, relating to the fact that in Crawford County there's a great deal of EAV for marathon, and that the effect here might be different than it is in other places. So we're really kind of just in a looking stage. This option is not the best option for all counties, and that's why it's by front door referendum, so that the people of the county can decide whether or not they would like to see this done.
But basically, the Robinson School District can decide if they want it.
Right,
Too,
they're the one.
because they have the majority.
They have over 50% of the students, so they can decide without, which would be not what they think. And I don't know that
And
they
I
made a
didn't
decision.
say that they have, but I want everybody to understand they could.
Yeah, I know that they probably are going to receive more than one letter related to this whatsoever. But that's good. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's why it's a front door referendum issue that is going to be decided locally. That's the way it should be. Okay. Any other comments about that? Have you heard anything? People talk about it? Any?
I thought it was very, really easy to understand presentation that night.
And Steve Nicholas came down and did a nice presentation. We can have them back, I'm sure, at any time. At any time to do this. So there's really not a problem with. If you guys want that, let me know. Okay. I think that's all I have. I think Julie and Guy have some information related to some grants that they'll pass along in their reports.
I've got first thing, junior high and the high school Christmas concert was very well attended. I think it went over very well. Several students were chosen for the LTC art show that were receiving awards, as well as 3 for the McDonald's. We'll do those terrific Tiger Awards in January. I got with Mrs. Compton, and she was fine with that, so we'll have several to recognize then. Homecoming week, we all survived. It went well, so was very pleased with the amount of spirit shown, and also with how the kids got along, and didn't forget the big picture that we're all Tigers, and this is the whole point, was the game and winning the game, and so that went well. Mr. Woods has written 2 grants, one from the Heath and one from the Claypool grants. Received almost $20,000 between the 2 of them with that money, because him and Jim are building their own PCs. We are able to basically replace that entire business lab with the exception of maybe 2 PCs. Something that's needed to be done, and I think the grant was very well written. He's been very good about, getting the kids involved in showing them a little bit on how to build the computer from the case that is brought in to all the components. In addition to that, what it will also allow us to do is grow those computers a little bit better than what we've been in the past. If technology changes and all of a sudden in his multimedia design he needs a faster video card, it's a matter of swapping components instead of, well, the motherboard won't do it, so we can't really do anything. So I think in the long run it's going to benefit everybody. So again, that's about $20,000 that he wrote for those grants. We were also received $1,000 per marathon to be used for math and or science. We're looking at right now utilizing the Smart Board has what's called math tools, and the tools are really pretty neat on what they can utilize, but they've been expensive, so we haven't really done anything with them. But that's what we're looking at, getting at least 4 licenses for all 3 math teachers, plus Mr. Reed, because he will use a lot of those in physics and chemistry. So that's where that's going. So we're really appreciative of Marathon donating that money, and we're going to put that to good use. Exams started today. Today was the AM exams. Tomorrow will be the PM exams. Hopefully after that, they can rest and relax their brains a little bit as they leave for break. And that's really all I have.
Just a couple things. The program was well attended, but not as good as the pre-K through 4 program. It was a packed house again,
Yeah.
but it was well attended. Ms. Haker really has worked hard. speaking of junior high, she's really encouraging her 5th and 6th grade numbers to stay strong. And so far, we've had 2 good years, so hopefully building our numbers up a little bit. We don't have finals, but we have AR activities. Today, the kids that qualified make gingerbread houses and cookies, and it smells like a bakery in here. And tomorrow, the junior high kids are going to do theirs. So we're just kind of accommodating. The kids have been pretty well behaved this year, and pleased with that. So that's about all that I had.
I'm going to backtrack because you guys all let me skip over the public hearing for school breakfast opt-out for summer school.
Yeah.
We didn't really have anybody in attendance, and so I assume there's no one that wants to talk about it, but we do need to allow for public comment. We are going to have summer school probably in 2012, and we are allowed to request an opt-out for serving breakfast if the actual cost of the program is more than the reimbursement, and that would be the case here. So under regular business, we will have a motion to do that. But if does anyone have input about that? Okay. Then under regular business, we need to approve the 2011 Unit 1 tax levy. Have any comments on that, Roger?
Yeah, you received the tentative levy last month. This is just the formal adoption of that levy. Again, remember that a year from now, we're going to be dealing with probably a lot different type of levy because we won't have Ameren. And the potential is that they'll look for some way to reduce the assessment on that property. And we've talked about what effect that might have. But for this year, it really doesn't have any effect. And our tax rate should actually go down this year. The projection is that last year's rate, and in fact, this is the 5th consecutive year that your tax rate has gone down. It was at 518 in 07. It went down to 512, then to 509, 502 last year, and we're projecting 498. And that does include your building bonds. So, I think given the tough fiscal times we're in, it's important for us to make sure that we consider the fact that we need to hold the line, and you've done a good job of doing that. And that's what would result from this levy.
And almost 50 cents of it's related to the building bonds.
Oh, yeah, 49.5, almost 50, 49.8 cents is for the building bonds. And believe it or not, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years of bonds. That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe, that we've gone that far into it. Does anybody have any questions on the levy? As you know, this isn't our main source of revenue, but we need to try to do the best we can with the limited property value we have, and I rate case or have it go down a little bit. So
we have a resolution on your copy in the minutes that basically says we're going to determine the sum of $487,500 be levied for a special tax for ed purposes, and $93,750 for special tax for operation and maintenance, $37,500 for working cash, $59,625 for IMRF, $59,625, I guess is what I said, $93,775 for working cash, $58,500 for special tax for fire, prevention, safety, environmental, and energy, and $75,808 for tort, $7,500 for special ed purposes. And that adds up to $838,933. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Geyer, yes. Knetch?
Yeah.
Newland?
yeah.
Roberts?
Yes.
Wyman?
Yes.
Callaway?
Yes.
Draper?
Yes.
Did you sign that? Chad needs to sign that now. This one's just yours. This is the truth and taxation compliance thing that shows you didn't increase the rate or the levy. So the hearing wasn't necessary. All right. That's it.
The next item is adopt a 2011-12 amended budget, and we talked about this last month.
And here is a copy of the budget that after the vote, everybody needs to sign in the appropriate place. And this had to do with a technicality related to a levy and a negative balance in a fund balance that is rather new, and all we really had to do was limit or turn an expense down just several $100s to make sure that it met the spreadsheet compliance of the State Board of Education. When we did that, it's also going to require us to do this amended budget.
And that's been on display as well and published in the Daily News. The total revenue, the amended budget is $3,718,906 with disbursements of $3,686,338. Is there a motion? Greg, is there a second? Mike?
Newland.
Yep.
Roberts.
Yes.
Hyman.
Yes.
Callaway.
Yes.
Draper.
Yes.
Guyer, yes. Knetch.
Yes.
New board policy. We have a first reading regarding student concussions and head injuries.
Yeah, this is new legislation that requires us to have a policy dealing with anytime we suspect that a student has a head injury that may be concussion related. Basically, the policy requires us to examine the student, have a medical person approve the student to re-enter a contest at a future date, and the Illinois High School Association is named in the law as the organization that provides us with the actual written policy that we put in our student athletic handbook now. So this policy that I have before you is in compliance with that statute, and we've already, before the policy is in place, we already took the steps to make sure that it's being implemented. So we just need to read it this month. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and next month we'll put it on the agenda, have it approved.
Anybody have any questions? It was included with your board packet. The officially adopt grade school on high school graduation day. High school graduation day will be Sunday, May 27th at 2 p.m. and the elementary and eighth grade graduation will be Tuesday, May 29th at 8 p.m. Is there a motion?
Yeah, always have that at 8 o'clock.
Forever.
Huh?
Forever.
That shows I'm not paid attention. I looked at that clock. 8 o'clock. That's got to be a typo.
You
know why?
We used to have these board meetings at 8 o'clock.
But that's so that
That was
in the
friends,
spring, if you guys are in
Yeah.
the fields, you can stay in the fields till later.
Yeah.
It's all about you, Chad.
Fitting 8th grade was the last graduation he went to.
You went to that twice, didn't you?
Any motion?
I'll make it.
Sherman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Chad?
Callaway.
Yes.
Draper.
Yes.
Guyer, yes. Knetch.
Yeah.
Newland.
Mm-hmm.
Roberts.
Yes.
Wyman.
Yes.
Need a motion and a second to petition the regional superintendent of schools to opt out of the requirement to provide breakfast during summer school. There were no comments. Public hearing held earlier.
I'll make that.
I'll second
that. Greg, your second.
Draper.
Yes.
Guyer, yes. Knetch.
Yeah.
Newland.
Mm-hmm.
Roberts.
Yes.
Wyman.
Yes.
Callaway.
Yep. Roger, did you have bids on gas and diesel?
I do, and here is a recap of the bids. I'm going to pass those around. We had 3 bidders this year for fuel.
I'll finish those. Yeah.
Now, one thing to be aware of is that
Okay.
as of January 1st, there's a federal fuel tax credit that expires. So you'll see an extra column on the spreadsheet that wasn't here in previous years, because they may not let it expire, but if they do, they wanted to bid it both ways, okay? So the Bolin Enterprises bid for, and they did an open and a fixed bid, had a open bid of delivered price of $271. Now that, obviously, you know what that means, that could change. Their fixed bid is $3.05 for gasoline. If the federal fuel tax credit expires, their delivered price goes up to $2.86 and their delivered price goes to $3.20 for fuel, for unleaded. For biodiesel, it's at $3.02 for the non-fixed price with the federal fuel tax, $3.20 if it expires. The fixed price is $3.38 for the biodiesel and $3.55 if it expires. Wabash Valley Service, the open bid price, delivered price is $2.83, $2.87 if the fuel tax expires. So you can see it's kind of a little difference there than the one above, even on the open bid. $2.71 for biodiesel and $3.24 if it expires. Their fixed price is $2.93 for lead-free gasoline, $2.97 if that expires. Those are both lower than the Bolin one. And then for biodiesel, it's $3.35 compared to $3.38 for the fixed price from Bolin. And if it expires, they're at $3.40 and Bolin's at $3.55.
What's their add-on price of 20 and 22 cents?
That's the total amount of, I can give you the sheet here. It's got a whole bunch of different lust tax, federal lust tax, environmental tax, Illinois motor fuel tax.
So that's included in the delivered price?
Yeah, I just add, yes, that's included in the delivered price. I just put them all in one line.
I mean, that's the difference between the rack price and delivered price, I guess.
Yeah, now the rack price, whatever it happens to be that day, plus 8 cents is what they will charge.
Let's look at it from KZ.
No, that's Wabash Valley bid you're talking about now, right?
Right, I'm talking about Wabash Valley.
Okay.
And then the third one is Effingham Equity, and they did not do a fixed bid. They just did an open, or non-fixed open bid, and they were at $2.60, $2.65 if it expired, and then $2.92 for biodiesel, $2.97 if it expired. So they are higher on the non-fixed bid than Wabash Valley, but not higher than Bolin. Now, traditionally, we've looked at the fixed bid as being the kind of more conservative and safer way to go, especially for budgeting purposes. So, I mean, based on these numbers, if you want to continue to go with a fixed bid, the Wabash Valley Service bid is the low bid for lead-free gas, either $2.93 or $2.97, as compared to $3.05 or $3.20 for Bolin, and the diesel is $3.35 or $3.40, depending on the federal tax expiration, as compared to $3.38, 3 cents less, or $3.55, which is 15 cents less. So based on that and sticking with a fixed price, if that's still your desire to stay fixed, I mean, my recommendation would be that you accept the bid of Wabash Valley Service at the lower price for the fixed bid. Pardon me?
Is that who we've been using?
And that is who we are currently using, yes.
In the past, has there typically been that much difference between what we've used as Wabash Valley's fixed price? I mean, if we look at the open price of Effingham Equity, there's quite a bit of price difference there in some of those.
Yeah.
I don't recall there being that much of a difference before.
Actually, for the open bid on the Effingham Equity one, they used a different day for the rack. The rack bid from Effingham Equity was 12/12, and the rack bid that the other two used was 2 or 3 days later, which, well, 1 day later. And I think that kind of gives you an idea of what happens in an open bid.
Well, at any day, I mean, crude can shoot up. If you paying any attention the day that Iran was shaking their sabers about, doing military and Strait of Hormuz, crude shot up $4 in 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. That happens to be the time that they deliver it, and you pay that price. And
Well, it didn't choose to do
Looking
that.
at
I
the
mean,
same spreadsheet too, Wabash Valley has the low bid on oil.
I know, yeah,
And
they're low.
Bowen did not bid on it.
Right. But you're right, Sharon. You never know.
I would take the fixed bid. I mean, of course, they're,
That's the motion.
I mean, because you just don't know. I mean, it could go down. I mean, if the economy keeps slowing down, crude can still go down, and you may save some more. But most of the experts are thinking crude's going to go up, especially the first quarter.
So far, we've done very well by going with a fixed bid.
I would
We've
say
done
go
our
with a
past
fixed
check,
bid.
isn't that correct?
There could be some big differences between one day and the next.
Yeah, I mean, you can budget that way.
Yeah.
It's a
So
little
we
more
haven't
stable.
we haven't gotten hurt by.
No, we have not gotten hurt. I think the one year that we saw the prices really go up to 4 and over, we were on fixed, and we were pretty happy we're on fixed, because by being on fixed that year, we probably saved ourselves what we would have been, or if we would have been going on some type of an open bid, those months we would have saved would have been all eaten up
And they will guarantee that for,
a year.
Calendar year
Okay.
2012.
Calendar year.
because there's, I mean, if
I got to call them in the morning.
stuff breaks out, you
Well,
pay $150 credit.
I'm sure as soon as he says, yeah, we'll take it, they're gonna go pre-buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what they're going to
Excellent.
do. That's why on this bid, I mean, one of the things they say, if the bid's accepted, Wabash Valley must be notified the day following the board approval. So this will be taped right here
Mhm.
to my computer. In the morning, we will call them and secure that bid if that's one. And same one with the others. I mean, that's just what they require you to do because of the market pricing.
They'll go up a lot faster in good town.
Need a
Them
motion.
marathon guys like
Need a motion and a second to accept the fixed bid for gasoline and diesel from Wabash Valley Service Company
I'm
for
scared
the
of that.
attached bid
Yep.
sheet.
I'll make it.
I'll
Is there a
second.
second?
I'll
Sherman
second
and
that.
Mike.
Guyer, yes. Knetch?
Yeah.
Newland? Roberts? Wyman?
Yes.
Callaway?
Everybody sign it?
Draper?
Yes.
Need a motion and a second to accept the bid for oil also from Wabash Valley Service Company. They were a low bidder for the bid sheet.
I'll make that motion.
Nat,
I'll second.
second Greg.
Knetch?
Yeah.
Newland?
Yes.
Roberts? Wyman?
Yes.
Callaway? Draper? Guyer,
Yes.
yes.
Need a motion and a second to enter into executive session at 7:32 for the purpose of discussion of personnel.
So moved.
Sherman, is there a second? Bill?
Second.
Callaway?
Yes.
Draper?